Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and today we're taking a look at another interesting card that I've been meaning to cover, and that is Empoleon EX. This card is also on the Wheel of Pain, although I'm actually debating taking it off of the Wheel of Pain. And that's purely because it is actually a decent card once you know how to build around it. Obviously, I've gone with a bit of a different approach compared to some. Obviously, some are playing the Wellspring package, which you can see I'm playing one Wellspring in my list. But I've added in a bit of an interesting attacker to the list. So as per usual, in the description below there's going to be usual links. There'll be the deck list, which is also available to copy in the description below. There's the games that we'll play and the outro and what I think of the deck. So our main attacker today, well ideally our main attacker, is going to be Empoleon EX, a Stage 2 320 HP Metal Pokemon with the ability Emperor's Stance. Prevent all effects of attacks used by your opponent's Pokemon done to this Pokemon. Damage is not an effect. In other words, no confusion, no paralysis, no nothing. Then of course, for our attack, we have a 2 metal and a colourless cost for Iron Feathers. It does 210 damage, which is actually a pretty good number. During your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon takes 60 less damage from attacks. Now, we're not playing the Metal Lab, we're not playing the Hero's Cape, although that is a valid variant. I've seen that running around. I wanted something that gives us an easier time into some matchups. So as you'll see when we go to the Pokemon that we're also playing, you'll see that. So obviously we are playing one copy of Wellspring. It's no-brainer. Obviously we can use Prism Energy to do this. Obviously we have no way to search the Prism Energy, but you know, the option is there if needs be. Obviously we can use the Metangs and things like that to thin and everything like that. Obviously to help try and find it. And obviously if we start a Prism Energy with the Wellspring, that's pretty broken. Obviously, we do have 2 attacks on this guy. We have the Sob as per normal, and of course, Torrential Pump, which is ideally what we want to be using it for. But of course, we do play a 4-4 Metang line with a Genesect to back it up, but I've added in a couple of extra attackers. I've added in 2 copies of the Heatran. I figured this is a no-brainer. Obviously, we do play a lot of Metal Energy in the list anyway, and obviously Prism can go on this guy as well. You know, we have a lot of option, and obviously Incandescent Body is a nice ability to have as well. But Steel Burst, for 50 times, discards all Metal Energy from the Pokemon, and this attack does 50 damage for each energy card that you discard in this way. So for 6 energy, we're doing 300, for 7, we're doing 350. This is a really nice number to have on a single prizer, and I just figured why not. Then, we are playing one copy of the Mega Mawile. I wanted an excuse to play this card again, I'll be honest. I really enjoyed the Metang deck that we did with this card, with the Cramorant and everything. But I really just want another excuse to play Mawile, because Mawile's actually still pretty good. Obviously, we do have 2 attacks on this Mawile. We have Gobble Down, which does 80 damage for each prize card I have taken. And of course, 260 on Huge Bite is pretty good, but obviously we do have to bear in mind, if your opponent's active Pokemon already has any damage counters on it, this attack space damage is 30. But we do at least have those options where required, and obviously Mawile is just a nice endgame attacker, so we do at least have that option. We also actually have the option, although it's probably not going to come up, of using Targeted Dive on the Prinplup. Obviously for 3 colourless energy, which would be Metal Energy, or a Prism, depends on what comes up. This attack does 70 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Don't apply weakness to resist for bench Pokemon. 70 damage is a pretty good number, but obviously ideally we don't really want to be using a Prinplup. We want to be using the Wellspring if we're going to do that sort of thing. But it is a relevant attack, so that's why I thought I'd bring it up. So, let's go to the deck list, and let's have a proper look. And welcome to the deck list. So, as I said, this is a more traditional approach with the Metang engine. Obviously, we've had to squeeze in 5 extra Pokemon that we typically don't want in this sort of list. I will be taking a look at a proper Metang box deck, though. Obviously, there was that one that did really well in an online tournament not too long ago. Do kind of want to take a look at that. I've done my own take on it, and it's a really fun little deck, and I've been really enjoying it. So, obviously, we're playing a 4-4 line of the Beldum and Metangs. We're playing a 2-1-2 line of the Empoleon. We're playing 2 Heatrans, Genesect, Fez, Wellspring, and a Mega Mawile. Now, you could add in a Lillie's Clefairy plus Mew as well. That's another good consideration, a couple of cards there. I'm saving that for the Metang box deck that I've been cooking up. But again, you could put them in this list. You could cut a gear, you could obviously, I don't know, cut the Nest Balls, and then you're all in on Trolley. You know, you could cut the Air Balloon, but that's quite risky, because obviously they could trap your Metangs. You could cut the Prinplup, but again, I like having the option in case we're item locked and we can't use candies. You know, like, there's a few options that you could do, but at the end of the day, I think it's just better to play that sort of approach in a Metang box. At least with this, we're not squeezing too much in. We're only squeezing in 3 Prism plus Wellspring. Obviously, in that case, we'd have to play the Clefairy, Prism, and Mew, and obviously other attackers, and plus, you know, Latias maybe. But no, I think it's correct to save that for the Metang box deck that we're going to do at some point. But obviously, we do have also Lillie's Determination in the list for our support. 3 Arven, 2 Boss, 4 Pokégear, 2 Energy Recycler, 2 Rare Candy, 1 Ultra Ball, 1 Night Stretcher, 1 Precious Trolley. We're pretty much all in on this trolley. 1 Nest Ball, 1 Super Rod, 1 Air Balloon, 1 Technical Machine Evolution for obviously getting Prinplups and Metang, or Prinplup and Metang into play. 14 Basic Metal Energy, and 3 Prism Energy. Because we're already playing 1 Wellspring, you could arguably cut this down to 2, or just play Basic Water Energy plus a Vessel. You could also do that. I like having the option of Prism though, because obviously Prism does help in most situations. Obviously Prism can actually go on the Empoleon. It will count as a colorless energy, but it won't count as a metal energy as it's not a basic Pokemon. Obviously it can go on the Heatran, the Genesect, the Fez, etc. and obviously the Wellspring and the Mawile, but ideally you want it on the Wellspring. But again, I think another potential build of this could be 2 Water Energy plus a 15th Metal Energy, or Vessel, you know, like having that option to Vessel for the Water Energy could be quite nice. But at that point, you'd probably want to cut the Mawile for a second Wellspring, but again, I'm going to save that sort of approach for the Metang box that I want to do. So, let's go to the games and see how we do. And welcome to our first game. We're paired up to someone in Eternatus rank. They're clearly climbing the ladder at a rapid rate. I still need to, get more motivation to actually grind the ladder a bit more, because I don't normally have the motivation to do it. I normally only do it for the rewards, because, you know, with us crafting a lot of cards for the Wheel of Pain, and obviously our other series and things like that, can get, obviously, it can get to a point where we need to, grind stuff. More so me, because obviously my sister has more credits than me, but you get the point. Now, looks like we're going first, that's fine. We start the Beldum. Let's see how we do. We're facing a Dark Box deck. Okay, this could be interesting. I'll Ultra Ball away a Metal and a Boss. Is our Wellspring prized? It is not. I mean, I could grab another attacker, but I think it's actually correct to grab the Wellspring here and get a turn attachment onto it with the Prism Energy. I'll just pass. I think it's correct to do that. Let's see how we do with this. Not a great start, because obviously we have been forced to go first, but, well, that's just what happens when someone wants to go second, clearly. You know, there's no harm in that. Every deck likes going for, well, not every deck likes going first or second. Some decks prefer the other way around. Some decks might prefer going second, some decks might prefer going first, you know? So let's see what we're facing. We're facing Sharpedo, because Sharpedo could be tough. Especially if it's the build sort of approach that I've done. Okay, 3 Toxels. Interesting. Dark Energy. Call for Family. Okay, interesting. It is Sharpedo. Okay. That could be tough for us, but we'll live with it. So we'll attach Retreat. Arven for Trolley. I'll take the Air Balloon as well. We will need to hit 2 off of this Metang, but it is possible. You know, there is the option to do that. We're going to get a Piplup down as well. Now that we've thinned the deck out quite decently, we have a good chance of hitting it. Metal Maker. We do get the 2. Nice. I'll Air Balloon the Metang just in case, and we will Torrential Pump. And we will actually take out the Seviper here. Because the Seviper, if it gets powered up by the Toxtricities and stuff, could be an issue. 240 on a single prize and with a Mega Evolution in play is nothing to sneeze at. There's our first couple of prizes. That's pretty good. Really good start. That's why we played a Wellspring. But yeah, obviously, as I said, I do want to do a Metang boss deck. So, I am planning on that. Obviously, I've got a list mostly built. But I don't have one that is definitively ready yet. Like, it's mostly ready. I'm playing Durant EX in it. I'm playing, I think I'm playing 2 Wellspring in it. I'm also playing a Mawile. I am debating putting Heatran in just for a single prize attacker, but at the minute I'm actually playing the new Dialga, which is quite interesting. It's what is this? It's something Chronos is its attack. It does 80 by default, and if you shuffle the Metal Energy back into the deck, it does 160, which is pretty good on a single prizer. Obviously, it's not as good as a Heatran, but Heatran discards it. At least Dialga shuffles it back in. So that's where I've been going with that. There's another Tox. Obviously, we are now susceptible to being, you know... He can obviously go Sinister Surge, Carvana, etc. But obviously, he has the tool here, so he has to play a Energy. Well, he has to play a switch of some kind. But yeah, so far, this is pretty standard. This is pretty standard in terms of, you know, Sharpedo list. Like, 3-3 Toxtricity line, 2 Carvanas down at the minimum. He could split them. He could split the energies, and that's exactly what he's doing. But, yeah, this is not looking good for my poor opponent here. He could Evo if he's got a turn attachment. And no, he's just going to pass. I could sob this, and I think it's correct to do so. There's another Metang. Nice. I think I'm just going to sob, to be brutally honest. I don't need to thin one of the Metangs. We don't need to do it now. I'm just going to sob. Unless he plays a Turret or a Switch, he's not budging. So, I'm happy with that. There's a Petch, so that is another way he can get out of this. And there's the Lillies. Obviously, we will need to respond to the Seviper. There's the Mega Sharpedo. Mega Sharpedo is going to be quite hard for us to take out, but with just 7 energy, we can do it. We can potentially do it. Subjugating Chains into the Sharpedo. Obviously, we'll lose the Wellspring here. He does take 2 prizes, but we do have options here. Obviously, there are going to be matchups where we're not even going to use Empoleon, and this is probably one of them. Like, we could take out the Petch with it, but ultimately, you have to consider what is best for the matchup at the end of the day. That's pretty good. So we'll Energy Recycler. I'm going to thin with Metangs first and then Lillies, because that's correct. Well, sequencing is the word I would use. So we need 6 energy. So far, so good. Although it's not looking likely. Nope, we've got it. We just need 1 more off of the... we don't even need that. We just Lillies for 8. Okay, that's pretty good. I could bench them more while, but I don't think it's correct. So yeah, we'll just go in with a Heatran. Steel Burst for 300. Take out the Sharpedo. Yeah, this Heatran is cracked. Honestly, it's cracked. Having a single prizer that can just hit that hard is just so good to have. We could, now that we have that Rare Candy off the prizes, we could finish the game off with the Empoleon. There is that option. That's if we get Boss, because we need Boss for a single prizer to do that, but we could do that. There is the option. There's Sinister Surge. He could also attack with a Petch, I guess, which, you know, that is an option. It's his bulkiest attacker if it is there, you know, but if he does that, we have game. It's as simple as that. I'm kind of hoping he doesn't gust the Piplup. He might be going in with the Petraront. If he does, that is fine with me. I'm happy with that. There's an attachment onto Monkey Dory. Adrenabrain. He's probably going to Adrenabrain a Piplup, I'd imagine. Yeah, that's fine. He doesn't need to go for the Piplup here. Like, we can just bench a Heatran if he ever starts getting a bit funky, you know. I'm I promise this is not a paid actor. I've not told him to attack with Petron. I'm just reiterating that. Irritated Outburst. He does take a 20 from Burn, but that doesn't hugely bother us. We'll promote the Metang, because now we can use our penguin. I had to think that. I thought it was a bird for some reason, but no, it's a penguin. Well, we're not going to need that, because we're just going to Genesect. We'll Genesect with Metallic Signal. Grab the Empoleons. Energy Recycler. Put back some energy. We only need 3 off the Metangs. Rare Candy into Empoleon. Metal Maker. We got the 1. Metal Maker. And that's game. So we'll free retreat. And we'll Iron Feathers for 210 and take game. Nice easy game against Sharpedo there. The early pressure of Wellspring plus the Heatran being broken is just so good in this matchup. And we got to use the Penguin, so that's always nice. So, let's go to a game 2. And welcome back to game 2. We've paired the same dude, I'm pretty certain. I don't know why, but that name rings a bell. Or it might have been the dude from earlier, I don't know, but I don't know why, but I don't normally look at usernames, but yeah. If it's the same dude, that's just unfortunate for you, mate. Because, I mean, it's almost midday on a Wednesday as I record this. So, you know, that's just unfortunate, but yeah. I feel sorry for my opponent, but if it is him, of course. Ooh, that's a horrible start. That's not a good start, Chief. That is not a good start. And yep, it's the same dude. Oh, you poor boy. I mean, to be fair, we have a pretty bad starting hand, but at least we have Lilies to bail us out of it. If not, we dig Claws in. There's more Wild, but we're not going to use that. We'll just attach and Lilies. Yeah, that's terrible. That is absolutely terrible. Dig Claws for 10. Do it for the content. Yeah, that is horrible. That is completely horrible. I was hoping for Trolley off of that, but, well. At the plus side, I was just about to say, he's got no Toxel set up yet. Evolving straight into the Sharpedo. Hero's Cape. Okay, that makes my job a whole lot harder. That's fine. Can we Arven for a Pokégear? Or get Pokégear for an Arven is what I meant to say. Arven. Oh, you're joking me, Trolley's prize. No, 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 no. Shoot. Okay. That makes things a whole lot harder then, because we don't have our Trolley. So, we'll get rid of you, and we'll get rid of you. As much as I'd love to get a thingy down, I think I need to get a Heatran down and get a turn attachment onto it. At the very least, I need to do that. Because I can Air Balloon this, I can go into the Heatran. I can do a turn attachment to the Heatran and pass. So, to take out that Sharpedo, we're going to need 9 energy. Which is quite a lot of energy. We could do it. It is a world in which we do it. But it's not going to be easy. Evolution, that's fine. I feel sorry for this guy. He's just paired against me already. Like, come on, man. But hey, you could consider this a best 2 out of 3, I guess. You know, like, that's the positive way of looking at it. I don't think it's correct, so I'm just going to attach to the Heatran and Lilies. We don't need to Gus this Sharpedo just yet. Okay, that's pretty good. So we'll do that. We'll Metal Maker. If we hit 1, we can take out the Viper. Nice. I'm going to put 2 on this Metang just in case it gets gusted, and we will Steel Burst. Take out the Survivor. It's a pretty good single prizer, so I need it gone. I need it gone in this situation. There's no sugarcoating it. I need it gone. Because it hits so hard and can obviously take out our 2 prizes quite comfortably, I need to do it. He can Hungry or Greedy Fang for 70 and obviously take burn damage, which will then trigger. But if he does that, the burn could stick further. The burn could definitely stick further. And plus he's just put this Carvana down. Let's see what happens. Because we could do it. We could very easily do it. I'll attach a Prism for turn, because then we get more value off of our Metal Energies. There's another Heatran. We'll thin that out. We'll attach a Prism Energy. And we will Lillies. I don't think we're going to be able to do it. There's Piplup at the very least. So that's Metal Maker. We get to 1. We don't need to attack now, but we can later. We don't need to rush. If he takes out the Heatran, so be it, is all I'll say. We do have more energy in deck, but still, this isn't looking too good. But obviously we are a single prize archetype, so we do have that option. Mawile is 270 HP though, so we're probably not going to use Mawile in this matchup. I'll be brutally honest. Sinister Surge, probably to the Carvana if he's got a second one hand, or the second Sharpedo in hand. I've actually ordered the cards for this deck in real life. It's such a good card. Okay, he's going for the Toxel approach. If only I had to put that Piplup down. I'd have Wellspring this turn, if I could, obviously. Call for family, that's fine. We can still take a single prizer, and then we can just take out one Sharpedo and then take out a Tox for game. So I'm not too worried about that. There's Monkeys. Monkeys are going to cause us problems. But no, having Trolley in the prize cards just kind of sucks. So let's go for an Arven. We'll grab an Energy Recycler. We'll Energy Recycler, but we don't need to do anything with it now. So I'll attach. And Steel Burst 150. Take out the Toxel. We take another prize card. Because like I said, now our prize map can be 1131. Which, you know, that's not the most ideal. But we are still getting value off of the Empoleon and obviously the Heatrans and everything like that. It's just a shame we're whiffing on our, you know, we're whiffing on a lot of stuff. Obviously, prizing the Trolley really hurts us in this matchup. But we're still doing decently well. And obviously the burn from Incandescent Body can matter, so that's at least something. He's had to turn attachment to the Sharpedo though, so that's actually a good thing. So what I can do here is I can promote this Metang with the energy on it. I can then retreat it, Energy Recycle 5 back in, potentially get what we need. Because now we only need 8. I say only, but we do need 8. So I'll promote the Metang, like I said. Once it lets me, of course. Because now I can get more value off of my Energy Recycler. The burn does heal, but ultimately we still need 8 to take out this Sharpedo. There's a boss. Boss is not going to help us though. So, we'll Arven. Take an Energy Recycler. Play the Energy Recycler. Oh wait, I forgot to retreat. Okay, that's fine. I just realised that. Would it be bad to attack with Wellspring here? Possibly. So let's Metal Maker. We get 2. We can just hit it. It's not a bad thing. I could bench second Piplup, but I don't think it's correct to do so. We'll just Artisan. Could get that Beldum out, but again, I don't think it's correct to do so. I've just realised we're only doing 150, but it's fine. We can deal with that. So we'll just hit it with a Heatran. 150. Obviously 210 would not take this out, so we do need to consider that. But no, so far, not a great beginning. Obviously my misplay there could matter. I don't think it will, but we'll soon find out. Wally's Compassion. Oh, that's so bad. That is bad for us. I didn't know he played that. Okay. That does mean, though, his Sharpedo can't attack. But that one can. Because he can Sinister Surge and then attack switch, which he's just done. Oh, that's bad. That is really bad. He's just going to go straight in with the greedy Fang, it looks like. Okay, we need to find our Metangs, like, as soon as possible. Obviously, now he takes a burn. So we only need 6. And the burn doesn't heal. That doesn't hugely matter, but we need to find more Metangs. Okay, so we'll just Metal Maker. We only get 1. That is kind of bad. I can boss the Tox, I guess, but I don't think it's correct to do so. You know what? We're gonna do it. He's not got a patch down. We'll take the risk. Okay. I mean, at least at the very least, we are taking out his acceleration. At the very least, but because he doesn't have a Tox down, well, a patch down, he doesn't have a way to retreat unless he plays Air Balloon. He can thin with Sinister Surge, but that's fine. But no, so far this is not looking too good for us. Obviously, priority would be the Hero's Cape one because of how bulky it is. Lillie's Determination, he's digging for that Air Balloon or a switch. I don't know if he plays either. I would imagine he at least plays an Air Balloon. Okay, Counter Catcher. That's just annoying. We both have to retreat now. I mean, I could always beam. Beam is a line. There's Empoleon. Let's Metal Maker first. And a whiff. Oh my god. This is not looking good for us, folks. This is not looking good. I mean, like I said, I can always beam. I'm not putting Empoleon down because also they could potentially go Monkey Dory, take it out. But no, this is bad. This is really bad. He's just put back 3 Dark Energy as well. This is not good for us. Janine, oh god, he's got a way to retreat. Well, pretty much a way to retreat. I think he has another Dark Energy in hand. Interesting choice for Janine, though. I do like that. Because obviously it does poison the Sharpedo, so if you're playing Binding Mochi... Yeah, I like this. This is pretty clever. Sinister Surge. That's actually pretty clever. I'll agree with that. I actually think that's a good card in this deck. Okay. Doing that to the Toxel in case I gust it. He's just going to pass. Okay. We need something now. And that's not something. Metal Maker. Get 2. I mean, what's the chance of him having Gust in hand? Probably pretty high. Like I said, we've just been whiffing. We've not seen anything really. Like, we've had 1 Pokégear, we've played a couple of Lillies, but, you know, like, we've not really seen anything. He's attaching to the monkey? Okay. I see the reasoning. Maybe he's trying to soften up the Piplup. No, he's just going to Drone Brain onto the Heatran. Okay. But now you don't get to retreat. I suppose he's putting me on a window here. There's a Metang. Good. That's what we need. So we'll Metal Maker. Are you joking me? We're with that. Metal Maker again. We just need 2. Okay, there we go. That's good. That's good. I'll put it on a Heatran. I guess we can just thin it out of the deck. As much as I don't want to do it, I'm going to have to swing with the Heatran here. And just hope. We have a lot of energy in the deck, in the discard pile now. We have 13 in there. That's pretty much all our energy. We need an Energy Recycler soon, because this is not looking good. It's looking really, really bad. He can even playful kick me for the knockout if he wants to. Which, that's embarrassing. That's my job to do the meme attacks, not yours, mate. Artisan. Okay. Grabbing another Carvana. So does he play a 3-3 line? Rhyme? What does this do? Oh, I switched my active. You can have the Beldum, I guess. I don't need the Beldum. I could have given him Piplup, but no, I don't think it's correct to do so. Brain. If he has a turn attachment for that Heatran, that's for the Monkey Dory, he can take out my Heatran here, which feels kind of bad. Town Store, that doesn't help us because we only have 2 tools in deck. One of which is here, one of which is here. Mochi, yeah, makes sense. Oh, this is so bad. We are probably going to lose this game. I mean, all we have to do now is take out this Sharpedo, at the very least. Sort of why I took the single prize option there. He's going to Greedy Fang with the... Oh no, he's attacking with this one. He can just Greedy Fang, he doesn't have to Hungry Jaws. Yeah, he's going to do that. I don't blame him. This is not looking good for us. See, I can't even come up with more WoW, because obviously it has damage on it, so it'd only do 30. There's an energy. That's my last Metal Energy in deck, though. See, look, we're out of recovery completely. We've only got a Super Rod. Super Rod will not carry us through this game. I mean, I can Metal Maker and just try and hit the 1, I guess. At the very least, I can try and hit the 1. No. I don't think we win from here, folks, I'll be honest. Like I said, we do 240 with the Mawile, which just isn't enough. If we took another prize, we'd do 320, but the way in which we have to take that prize... yeah, I'm just going to concede and go to a Game 3. And welcome back to Game 3. That was quite unfortunate. Obviously, the misplay with the Metang, not retreating it, and then using Energy Recycler was a little bit of a problem, but ultimately, I don't think that would have hugely mattered, even if I'd have put Empoleon up front. Because obviously, they can just heal with Monkey Dory, so, you know, it's like, yeah, 210's nice to hit, but, yeah. Okay, starting to Beldum is fine. Starting to Latias, that's fine. And it's Dragapult, okay. Is it just straight Pult? Because you would not normally bench 3 Dreepy. Okay. Are we facing Dragadusk? Because Dragadusk would be a problem. Already getting Bidoo down, of course. Threatening the Bidoo already, of course. Right, well that's a good start. Let's play the Pokégear. We don't get it, that's unfortunate. So let's attach... I'm actually going to... Do I attach Prism? No. I think it's just correct to attach here. And then Lilies. Oh, really? I drew into the Prinplup? Oh, God. Right, okay. In that case, I get rid of Prinplup. Actually, no, I want to keep that in hand, because if I'm going to get item locked. I'm going to get rid of Fez. I'm going to get rid of this Metal Energy. Because I can at least target a dive it, I guess. That's where I'm thinking. I can grab a Heatran. We can have a quick prize check as well. Okay, so we prized 1 Beldum and 1 Metang. Oh no, we've got Metang in hand. Ignore me. We priced 3 Arven. Jeez. We've got Trolley in there, but that feels pretty bad. See, I'm just gonna grab the Heatran, and I'll evolution the 1 Beldum. So we have our Prinplup in hand, which we could use targeted dive. We could use targeted dive. We'd have to hit 3 off of the, or at least 2 plus Lilies for 8, and then potentially get a Metal Energy there or a Prism. We could hit with targeted dive. I don't think I'm going to do that, because realistically, out of the 2 attacks, I kind of want to Iron Tackle. But But no, targeted dive just doesn't do enough to these Dracloaks, so that's something to figure out. Jamming Tower, that's slightly annoying, but we can deal with that. And here comes the Badoo, because of course, itchy, itchy, itchy. One of the most annoying cards printed. That's kind of why I went with the Prinplup and kept it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to... In fact, no, do I keep the Beldum in the active? It's a little less bulky than my other basics, but I do get to attack with Metang instead. Because I can get more energy onto the board. So yeah, I'm going to evolve into the Metang. I'm going to Lillies. Okay, so there's the Empoleon at the very least. So I'm going to Metal Maker. We might as well thin all three out. I think it's time for a beam, folks. I'm going to put a couple on the Heatran as well. Attach Return. Metal Maker. I'll put one on the Prinplup. And yeah, beam for 60. See? It's my job to do the meme attacks, not the playful kick for that Toxel. He could have threatened that, but no. There's one of our Arvens. Excellent. We're going to need that, and we definitely would need a Lillie's Clefairy in this list, but, well, I don't make the rules, is all I'll say. Something tells me we're going to be staring down a Pult in a moment. We can always just retreat this Metang, go into the Prinplup, Energy Recycler, we could just Super Rod, go into the Empoleon, gust the Latias with the Empoleon, and take the prizes there. We could do that, and I think that's probably a good line. Because like I said, we'll be effectively 380 HP. We are bulky. Dragon Dust cannot deal with it. There's Neo Upper. There's Dragapult, but you have attached here. So unless you play Crispin, which is very unlikely, you're not attacking unless you're doing a Jet Headbutt. In which case, respect. Go on, do the Jet Headbutt. You know you want to. Boss. The Prinplup. He's Jet Headbutting my Prinplup. That's just rude. Which, that actually does matter if he plays Dusks. That actually does matter. And a concession? Okay. Game 4 it is. And welcome back to Game 4. I think have we paired the same dude again? Have we paired two of the same people back to back? Like we're win, loss, win at the minute? We'll know by the deck that we see. I don't know why he conceded there. I think it's because he meant to attach to the active, but like, how do you screw something that simple up? I mean, you could have done the Jet Headbutt for 70. It would actually matter if you played Ghosts. But, I don't know. Let's see what we get off the top. Well, that's a lot of energy and no playable cards. I mean, the Arven's playable, but we're going first. Okay, there's Piplup. What are we facing? This looks like Toadbox. Toadbox could be tough. Do I start the Mawile? There's an argument to be made to start the Mawile, because Huge Bite for 260 could be pretty good. But starting a Piplup, I can get call for support. I'm going to start the Mawile. I'm going to start the Mawile. It's probably the bad move. Hey, that's Mega Absol. That could be useful. Attach. Bench Piplup. Pass. That could be relevant, that 260 actually. We obviously can't hit out this Mega Absol, but we can at least, you know, get set up with Lillies after this turn. But no, I made it through the Mawile in just for a late game option. You can obviously play like Blood Moon or Saluna and things like that, but, you know. It's one of those things, like, you don't have to, but I feel like playing it is just pretty good. There's his trolley. Obviously, we're playing trolley, but he's got access to his trolley. We ain't. Obviously, I don't even know if it's in deck, because we can't deck check with a card, well, a hand like this. But it's okay. I mean, Toadbox is actually pretty tough for the most part. And yeah, it is Tord Box. We could, if we get the nuts next turn. He's going into the Kang, fair enough. Kang makes the most sense here. This is actually a good matchup for us, though. Obviously, starting the Mawile, probably not the best idea, but, well, at least it's a bit bulkier than the frickin' Piplup. And just a pass. No Turbo Energize at the very least. I'm going to attach here just so I can retreat and we'll Lillies. That's not good, Chief. That is so not good. We've not got a single Beldum down. You know what? We're going to meme. We're going to gobble down for nothing. We might as well do it for the content. There's no point me retreating this Mawile. Not right now. There's no point. We've got no Metang. We've got no Pokemon set up at all. But at the very least, we've gotten Prinplup ready to go. So we can start setting that up. We can obviously attach there next turn. But yeah, we need to get our Metangs established. We are just sitting pretty right now. We could go for a Pokégear. If we get a boss, we could boss the Latias. That makes his job a whole lot harder. We could also get rid of Petch. Petch obviously would give him damage counters to work with. Latias obviously just gives him free retreat anyway, which is fine. We can deal with that. But what I'm thinking is we go for the Petch, because then that means Mega Absol isn't as easier to get, you know, damage into play. We could very easily do that. There's a run errand. So he's going to Turbo Energize, probably attached to the Absol. See, the issue is with Absol is the Claw of Darkness attack. That's what mainly worries me. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy's playing exactly Tord's list, because most people just copy Tord. They have no taste. There's Empoleon. That's pretty good. So let's see what we get off the Pokégear. We do get the boss. I'm going to go for it. I think it's good. Yes, we're a turn behind. But we do get to take a knockout with Huge Bite. I think it's correct. Realistically, I think it's correct. We're behind anyway. Look, we had a Metang in the prizes. I know we're going to be a turn behind. But realistically, I think it's correct. Because if we could use Mawile to take out the Latias, if we top that boss again, it's not the end of the world. We can start manually attaching to the Empoleon. Empoleon is really bulky. And it's immune to Terminal Period. There's Lively Stadiums. Now, we will have to worry about that in case he puts a Charm on that Latias. There's Fez. Fez can also be gusted. Also gives our Heatran a bit of extra bulk, but that's not going to matter. Also gives Mawile a bit more bulk, but again, that's not going to matter. Let's see what he does here, though. Counter Catcher the Empoleon, of course, because... Yep, just going to storm me, are you? Claw of Darkness me and all that jazz. If he's got the turn, he's going to get rid of this Lillies, and then we're in a really bad spot. Penny, pick up the Kang, probably. Yep, because then he can attach Mist to this. Yeah, we're losing that Lillies in hand, that's for sure. That's so annoying that he had that kind of catcher. Of course he had it. He's playing Tord Box. Like I said, people who just net deck Tord's list, you have no taste. You genuinely have no taste. You know, like, at the very least, you know, like... At the very least, make your own version of it. No, don't just net deck his 60. You have no skill if you net deck, as far as I'm concerned. And yep, there goes the Lillies. We're going to be losing our Empoleon very shortly. There's a Metal. I'll attach it to the Heatran and pass. Not much I can do here. Like, literally, there's nothing I can do. The most thing I can do is I can Huge Bite this, hope he doesn't get anything, and then I can obviously, you know, like, I can attack this at the very least. But no, this isn't looking good. I could 260 this, and obviously we can finish it off with Gobble Down. But if he keeps healing turn back after turn after turn, this is going to get tricky. But yeah, this is not looking good for us. Like I said, I know probably the boss play was probably the wrong thing, but I have to take prizes at some point. I'm going through 3 prizes at the end of the day. We're going to be losing our Empoleon, so Unfortunately, Empoleon's only gotten to do one thing this video, but, well, I didn't know this guy was going to gust it, did I? And there's the Claw of Darkness. He's probably going to get rid of the Metal Energy or one of the Metangs. Could get rid of Candy as well. That is another option. But we'll soon find out. Get rid of a Metal Energy, fair enough. Doesn't hugely matter what he gets rid of there, but we can at least attack with a Mawile now. There's another Metal Energy, we might as well attach it. And we will Huge Bite for 260. At least Mawile's putting in some work, that's the nice thing at the very least. But yeah, the worst thing that can have happen here is he pennies. But, you know. Let's see what happens. There's some darks, so we can heal the Absol a little bit, but it doesn't matter. We are doing exactly 160, so we can take out the Absol. So we can take out this Absol this turn. But our board state is looking worse for wear, to say the least. He's healing off. Again, it doesn't matter. We can take out this Absol. And we're not going to bounce the stadium because that does make his job a little bit easier. Oh, he's just going to Terminal Period. I forgot about that. That's bad. Yeah, this is just so unfavoured, apparently. But that's what happens when he draws the nuts and I draw nothing. So, you know. And yeah, we'll see there. Nothing we can do. I was kind of hoping that he would have forgotten about Terminal Period, but, well, when you copy someone's exact list, yeah. That didn't exactly go well, but, well, that's why Torn won Las Vegas, is all I'll say. But, so anyway, so, what did I think to the deck? I think the deck's got potential, you know, like, Empoleon in itself has got potential. I'm definitely going to be taking it off the wheel. So if in future you do see the Empoleon on the wheel, it will no longer be on the wheel. I think it's a good enough card on its own. Because like I say, you can play Metangs, you can obviously play Monkey Dories in here. Like have Metangs plus Monkey Dories or something similar like Turbo Energize and Rare Candies and things like that. I think it's just too bulky for the Wheel of Pain. I don't think it's fair to have it on the wheel. Because you could make this a really good deck with the right build and everything. But of course, we do lose to net deckers because people have no taste and can't make their own deck lists. But, you know, that's just how it is, unfortunately. I don't plan to cover Tord Box. I don't think it's a deck that I really want to play. It's not my cup of tea. But, yeah, this is a good deck, in theory. I think this Empoleon EX W Metang is. Does need a little bit more work. Like, obviously, you could add in Lillie's Clefairy for the Dragapults and stuff like that. Because, obviously, we do play Prism Energy. You could add in more Metal Energy by cutting consistency cards, but as you saw in the games, we were really struggling with our consistency. You could even cut it to a 101 line, bit like Pidgeot, so like you still have 2 candies in the list, or even 1 candy, so that you can just bench the Piplup, like Rare Candy with the Genesect and stuff like that. You could do it that way. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to have a bit more of a focus on the Empoleon, but yeah. Ultimately, I think this card is not worth putting on the wheel. I think it's actually a pretty good card. 210 is still a relevant number to be hitting, so I think it's pretty fine with that. But otherwise, this list felt pretty okay to play. Obviously, it does need a bit more consistency fix, but ultimately, I think it's a pretty good deck. Anyway, we're going to leave you all to it for today. I really hope you enjoyed seeing Empoleon EX with the Metang engine, and I'll see you next time.